Joel, I think you're being ridiculous right now, dude. Honestly, I don't understand how we're not on the same page with this because I thought that we were pretty good friends at this point, and to be on such opposite sides of this argument it's actually making me kind of angry, if I'm being honest with you.
Well, you know what, gents? I've always looked at the best in you, and I've always seen the best, and this is something that I've always had to look past. And you know what? I'm not surprised that someone who thinks like this is always getting angry and actually wants to just come at me and attack me like this. I'm not even that surprised. You know what?
I literally can't believe you right now, dude. Green has always been and will always be the superior color to blue, dude. Whatever, man. I'm done. I don't think we're getting past this. I'm out of here. Welcome back to the SpewnedIt Podcast.
And I suppose that is the question. Is the color green better than the color blue? Fortunately for you and for both of us, this is a question we are not going to be discussing on the podcast today. Because Jensen and I were thinking before, it's been quite a long time since we've just had a good old-fashioned chat. We've just had a good sit-down and just a catch-up. So, Jens, before we get into any of this, how are you doing, my man?
I am doing pretty great. Had a really long week of work, but in the weekend now, later today, I'm going to watch the Super Bowl, and pretty excited to see how that turns out. But I'm doing all right. Feeling good. How about yourself?
Yeah, man. I'm doing okay. I mean, was able to get back to work on Friday. You know, I've been off ill the last couple of weeks now. And I mean, was feeling okay, but I'd basically been working from home. And so, was a bit of a pain on Friday. Had the absolute honor of going back into work. I was so happy to just see people again. I'd been having to isolate, and I'd done my 10 days, which is what it is now, I think, unless it's changed. But you've got to stay at home for 10 days after testing positive for COVID. And if you've done that, if you've isolated for 10 days, then, and as long as you don't have any symptoms by the end of it, then you're good to go. And so I was so glad to be able to get back into work. That was so nice. And then thought I was going to be having quite a relaxed weekend, but actually had my mate's stag do in Manchester. My mate James. Honestly, all the love in the world for James. I cannot wait for his wedding. It's going to be amazing. But so did yesterday morning really did a 2-hour journey there and back. And then did dinner. We went to a jazz bar in the middle of it, and honestly, it was great. But I was driving back at I left at midnight, got back at around 2 a.m. after a 2-hour drive.
Yeah.
It was honestly, man, it was hectic. I was not enjoying it at all. But I had a few Twixes in my bag just for no apparent reason, and then I've been really enjoying the polos recently. Whenever I drive, I'll just have a little packet of polos, and I'll just occasionally once in a while.
What's a polo?
Just to help me think. What's a polo? Like a mint?
Yeah. Oh,
like a mint? Do you not have polos in the US?
It's not a brand we have now.
No way.
This is a
okay. Well,
mint?
Polos are yeah. So I mean, it's it's not even really like a Mento, but it's a. No, it's just I don't know if you call it hard candy. It's just like a mint. It's just like a mint, and so I think they're peppermint flavored.
The more you know.
But,
okay. All right.
The more you know. But yeah. So I mean, that was, I don't know, that was really nice. But then that just took up a lot of the weekend. But was all good, and I'm just happy to be back. But driving at that time, I had to make sure that I was really focused. I tried the whole thing of putting the window down, having loud music on.
Yeah.
And fortunately, it kept me awake. But I don't know how much those tactics actually work. But I don't know. They worked for me that evening anyway.
Yeah, dude. I was driving home I actually last week had a kind of an impromptu focus group that I went and did for something that I can't talk about. But on the way home, it was kind of late at night, and it's a 20-mile drive from Seattle up towards where I'm living right now. And you ever get that feeling where you drive in, you got your music on or whatever, and then you don't really you're aware of the road, and if something were to happen, you'd be plenty fine to avoid an accident or slow down, whatever. You're driving safely, but you're not aware of the actual distance that's passing. And so
all the time
before I know it, then it's my exit. I'm like, oh, we gotta get over, gotta get off the road, and it's almost like you've teleported, because I'm just in my own head, just thinking about whatever I'm thinking about. as I'm
Yeah.
driving and got my music going, and it's just like, oh, now
Has,
okay.
have you
now
ever
I'm
have
here.
you ever missed your exit?
Oh, yeah.
Has that ever happened and you've
Oh,
ever
yeah.
missed your exit?
Yeah,
All the
definitely.
time.
Not all the time,
brilliant.
but it's definitely happened
On occasion.
a couple times. Yeah, where I'd just be like, oh shoot, there it was.
My bad.
Yeah, dude. Oh, speaking of driving though, I've been working, so that's been good. And this past week, I was teaching at a school that I hadn't taught at before, different part of the city, and I was on my way over there, and it's like 8:17. I'm figuring I'm supposed to be there like 8:25. School usually starts around 9:10, somewhere in there, and I get a call from their office, and they call me like, hey, is this Jensen? I'm like, yeah. They're like, are you coming into work today? I was like, yeah, I'm on my way. They're like, oh, well, school starts at 8:30, so you might.
No.
I'm like, no way, because it started at a different time from the previous school where I had been working at the other week. And the dumbest part is that I even knew that because on our website where we do our scheduling, it like tells you when you're supposed to be there. But I just like defaulted to what I had been doing because I was like kind of on autopilot. I was like, all right, just gotta make sure I have my lunch, all my stuff, make sure I'm ready to go. And dude, it was the start of such a rough week, and it was just a tough class with kids that aren't always listening. And to be fair, there are a number of them that are in there that are just trying to learn and like are really obedient and just great,
and just
but it's just the ones that aren't, that ruin everything and make it so difficult, because I'm having to constantly tell them to get back on task or stop talking to their neighbors, stop distracting people, stay in the office. But in the middle of that week, I had this one amazing moment that I want to tell you about. I know I've been talking for a little bit here, but I think you're going to appreciate this. So they were having a time where they're all supposed to be working on their computers doing like math problems or something. And usually it's like not that big of a deal, because when they're on the computer, they're kind of happier than when they're doing other things, because they have a little bit more freedom with what they're doing. So it's easier. It's less of like, yeah, work on your worksheet or like write in your notebook. It's because they're on the computer, so it's easier typically. But this one group of students was just chatting to each other the whole time. I was like, guys, you gotta get back on task here. And one of them, I'm like sitting at my desk, and they're kind of right in front of me. And one of them, I hear say Ligma, and I'm like, all right, you're not gonna finish this joke because it's not appropriate in this school, and I don't want to send somebody to the office. So I'm like, hey, guys, I had Bacta a while back. And they're like, Bacta? What do you mean? I was like, I had Bacta, and they're like, what's Bacta? I was like, get back to work. And then they're like, whoa. And then they're like, wow, that was pretty good, Mr. Anderson. And then this one kid who, I'm not going to say his name, but it's such a sweet kid. He's like, Mr. Anderson with the back to school special. And I was like, yeah, my man. So anyway, I earned a few like cool points. And then the next day I tried to do it again, but they were a little more wary. It was like the same group of kids while we were lining up. And I'm like, hey, why does it smell like Up Dog over here? And they're like, wait, what do you mean? They're like, oh, he's trying to do another joke. He's doing another joke. I'm like, and they're like, all right, what's up, dog? I'm like, no, what's dog? What's up with you? And they're like, okay. So it didn't work quite as good the second time, but I was pretty proud of that moment, and earned some, street cred with the youths of America. So that was one of the better parts of my week.
Nice. That's really good to hear. And obviously, like from the Spooned It, right down to the roots of Spooned It, to everyone who listens to it, I all the respect in the world for teachers. And so, Jens, obviously you're doing an incredible job, and that joke, just pulling that out of thin air, with a little just like you're showing dominance with a sense of finesse as well. So, I think that's
feels good.
I think that's really cool. You know what I mean? Like mate, like you said, getting the style points, with the people that it matters. That's that's brilliant, man. Man, honestly, working from home has been such a drag. Like I've been chatting to a few people from work, and just like asking about stuff and checking in, but like I'd gotten into this, what is probably not the best habit, but obviously I'd get up, and I'd be able to get up slightly later because I'm not having to drive into work, because it's kind of like get up, chuck some clothes on, like downstairs, breakfast, back upstairs, and then I'm here, and I'm at my desk, and I'm ready to go. So it would take me like 15-20 minutes, and I'm ready.
Sure.
And then it's like the worst thing is at the end of the day, so, like I've got my laptop here, I've got my monitor to my right hand side, and my Xbox is plugged into my monitor. And so literally at at 1 minute past 5, by that point, the work laptop is closed, the Xbox is on, Halo's in the Xbox, and I'm ready to go. And it took like literally no time at all. And that was basically just about every weekday of those 2 weeks, because I was just like, I really want to get the Halo games finished. And so, oh man, like it was, I don't know, it was all over the place, and I was doing that every single day. So it was something that I've obviously had to break out of now, because being able to go back into work, which is very exciting. But I think I found myself after like day 3, maybe day 4, thinking this is not a habit that I need to be keeping up at all. But it's kind of like as and when, and it was a lot of fun. And so it's nice to be able to go back into work and just have those little interactions with with my mates that I've got there. Is always a little bonus. Jens, nice to be able to have a bit of a catch up here. I feel like we haven't done this in quite a while. We used to do this a little bit more. I feel like this is slightly more old school SpewnedIt Podcast, which is quite cool. I think we need to 100%. We need to get this back into the flow of things.
The rotation. Yeah. No, I'm 100% agreement. But yeah, guys, let us know down below in the comments, Team Blue or Team Green. This is really important. We need to hear from you, and just to help us get past this, move forward. You know what I mean? So, yeah. Anyway, Team Blue, Team Green. Let us know in the comments.
Yeah, because it's definitely not something that Jensen and I are going to be able to look past. We need your help. But on a more serious note, guys, of course, we would love to hear from you at any time. Let us know how you've been doing coming into this new year, and just how you've been. Jensen and I would love to hear from you. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel, and the SpewnedIt Podcast will be back next week. So until then, God bless and have a great time.